I recently read the book Eat That Frog by author Brian Tracy. Let's find out who is Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is a Canadian-American motivational public speaker and self-development author. He is the author of over 70 books that have been translated into dozens of languages. His popular books are Earn What You're Really Worth, Eat That Frog, and The Psychology of Achievement. Mark Twain once said that if the first thing you do each morning is eat a live frog, you can go through the day with the satisfaction knowing that that is probably the worst thing that is going to happen to you all day long. Do you routinely distract yourself with easy tasks as a way to avoid doing harder, much more important tasks? Do you find yourself cleaning the house, organizing files, running errands, or replying to every unread message in your inbox, when you really should be focusing on something more important? Although many of the small activities that you do during the day might seem productive, they aren't the best use of your time at that moment. What you really should be doing is eating that frog. Brian Tracy says your frog is your biggest, most important task, the one you are most likely to procrastinate on if you don't do something about it. It's also the one task that can have the greatest impact on your life. At the moment, we all get distracted by the small, insignificant but easy to digest tadpoles swimming around our pond of potential things to do and lose sight of the frogs. So let me show you how to find your biggest frog and then eat that frog. The first step to finding your biggest frog is considering the consequences of doing nothing. Gather a list of everything you could do, should do, or ought to do now. Imagine doing nothing on that list for an entire week. Imagine you went for a long drive across the country without a phone or a computer. What are the long-term consequences of doing nothing on that list? Which of these unfinished tasks could be fatal to your role within your company? Brian says the key result areas of management are planning, organizing, staffing, delegating, supervising, measuring, and reporting. These are the areas in which a manager must get results to succeed in his or her area of responsibility. A weakness in any one of these areas can lead to underachievement. Any task that doesn't significantly impact the long-term health of your current role is a tadpole, not a frog. One thing all day of the things that you identified to have long-term consequences on your key result areas. What one task could you do all day that would contribute the greatest value to your company? Brian Tracy says that if you ask yourself that question 3 times, the 3 tasks that you come up with will be 90% of the contribution you can provide your company. If you still can't decide between 2 or 3 frogs, simply focus on the one frog that you've most avoided eating. Brian Tracy says eat the biggest and ugliest frog before anything else. Do the worst first. By doing the worst first, you'll receive a great sense of relief and satisfaction upon completing it, which will provide you with the confidence you need to eat more frogs. So now that you've found your biggest and ugliest frog, how do you eat that frog? The best way to eat a big and ugly frog is to focus solely on the next bite, but let me show you how can you focus on that frog? And remind yourself of the last bite. I do this by focusing solely on a small section of a task that I can complete in the next 10 minutes. I ask myself, what initial result can I achieve in the next 10 minutes to get me moving in the right direction? Whenever I feel particularly overwhelmed, I just remind myself of the last bite I took of this frog or any other frog. Reminding myself of a recent success gives me the confidence to take the next bite. So it's time you start letting those tadpoles swim by and start focusing on eating that frog. You need to be very clear about your goals and targets, and to do this accurately you need to follow 7 steps procedure, which are: step number 1. Decide exactly what do you want. You should decide what exactly you want, related to your financial life, about your health, related to your relationship and social life, and also be clear about other important aspects of your life, about your goals in it. Step 2. Think on paper. Only 3% people write their goals on paper, and this habit of 3% people increase the chances of completing their goals. Step 2. Make deadlines. After writing all your goals and ideas on paper for completing any task or work, how important is it to give deadline to it? Step 4. Make a list. Make a list of all work which needs to be done for and how that list will be. I will give you more detail on that. Step number 5. Organize the list and make plans. After writing and then organize the all written work properly, make a simple plan that how will you finish. Step number 6. Take action on your plan. After making the plan, take an immediate action. At the end, action will give you a result, not planning. Step number 7. Resolve yourself to do everything that moves you towards the goal. Read books, learn from mentors, learn new skill which will help you to complete your targets/goals, or at least do any work in a day which will bring you one step closer to your goal. This was the 7-step procedure by Brian Tracy. Have you heard the old question? How do you eat an elephant? The answer: one bite at a time. How do you achieve your goals? The same way. You break them down into specific step-by-step activities and then you start on the first one. So make a plan. The better the plan you have, the easier it is for you to overcome procrastination. Let's say you want to run a marathon. Just thinking about it makes me tired. But let's break it down. First, buy running shoes. Second, get an exercise plan, and third, jog 3 times a week, 15 minutes each, while slowly building up run time over coming weeks. You will maximize your work time so that you'll have more time to spend with people you care about most, doing the things you love doing most, without the weight of a frog on your shoulder. Your body is like a machine that uses food, water and rest to generate energy, which you then use to accomplish important goals. When you are fully rested, you can get 2-3 times as much done as when you are tired or burned out. To start a task when you are tired, you have no energy or enthusiasm. You're like a cold engine in the morning that can't get started. Most people are at their best in the morning, after a good night's sleep. Another major reason for procrastination is fatigue or attempting to start a task when you are tired. Whenever you feel tired and overwhelmed, stop and just take a break and reset yourself. Get more work done the next day when you are recharged. It's better than working fatigued. So get enough quality sleep and make sure you take care of your physical health with plenty exercise. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to be better than yesterday.